Every single week in my exam room, I ask exhausted pet parents a simple question. How well are you sleeping at night? And almost every single time they look at me with dark circles under their eyes and tell me the exact same story about how it's midnight. The house is dead silent, but the bed is shaking. The dog is aggressively kicking a back leg, furiously scratching their side. They pause for 10 seconds when told to stop, and then the awful sound of slurping and licking begins. They are obsessively chewing on their paws. Their ears are bright red and hot to the touch. Their belly is covered in a bumpy, itchy rash, and no matter what anyone does, they are completely miserable in their own skin. If your dog suffers from chronic, agonizing itching, I know exactly what you have been going through. I know because I see the exhaustion on the faces of pet parents in my exam room every single day. You have likely been running yourself ragged, trying to figure out what is causing this. You've been wandering down the pet store aisles, spending $80 or $90 a bag to switch from chicken kibble to beef kibble to a fancy grain-free salmon kibble. You wait 2 weeks, the itching doesn't stop, and you go buy another bag. Maybe you even ordered one of those expensive mail-in dog allergy tests you saw advertised on social media, snipped some of their hair, sent it off, and got back a list of 50 different foods your dog is supposedly allergic to. And yet, nothing is working. But what if I told you that almost everything you have been told about dog food allergies is completely wrong? What if I told you that the online allergy tests are a total scam and that simply buying a different flavor of food at the pet store will never, ever cure your dog? Most importantly, what if I gave you the exact, foolproof, 8-week clinical blueprint that veterinary dermatologists use to permanently diagnose and successfully manage food allergies once and for all? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tony Lee, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are talking about the massive, confusing, and highly expensive world of canine food allergies. Pet food companies and online scammers are making millions of dollars off of your frustration. Today, I am putting a stop to it, because we are doing a complete masterclass on how to actually identify a true food allergy. We are going to expose the testing myths, break down the biology of the canine immune system, and I am going to teach you exactly how to execute a true 8-week elimination diet trial at home. We will cover the invisibility cloak diets and the sneaky, microscopic mistakes that can instantly ruin your 8-week test. So grab a notebook, take a deep breath, and let's save you hundreds of dollars and get your dog some permanent relief. Let's start with Chapter 1. We need to tear down the lies so we can build up the truth. Welcome to the myth of the online allergy test. If you scroll on social media, you will undoubtedly see advertisements for dog allergy testing kits. They tell you to swab your dog's saliva or cut a piece of their fur, mail it into a lab for $100, and they promise to send you back a beautiful, colorful chart showing exactly what your dog is allergic to. My friends, as a veterinarian, I need to tell you that these tests are a complete, unscientific scam. You do not just have to take my word for it. Several independent, peer-reviewed clinical studies have been conducted on these exact mail-in saliva and hair testing kits. Do you know what the scientists did? They didn't just send in real dog hair. They secretly sent the labs fake hair cut off of synthetic stuffed animals. They sent in plain distilled water instead of dog saliva. And guess what? The lab sent back positive allergy results for the stuffed animals and the water. They claimed the stuffed toy was allergic to chicken and beef. These mail-in tests are heavily capitalizing on your desperation. There is zero valid medical science behind using saliva or hair to diagnose a dietary immune response. Please, save your money. Now you might ask, what about blood tests at the vet's office? Veterinary blood tests, which measure a specific antibody called IgE, are fantastic for identifying environmental allergies. If your dog is allergic to oak pollen, dust mites, or flea saliva, a blood test will give us incredible information to help create custom allergy shots. However, veterinary dermatologists globally agree that blood testing is notoriously, horribly unreliable for identifying food allergies. It gives a massive amount of false positives. You simply cannot diagnose a food allergy with a needle or a swab. This brings us to Chapter 2, the retail grain-free trap. If we can't test their blood, we have to change their food. But how do we do it? The biggest myth in the entire pet industry is the war on grains. When a dog starts scratching, the very first thing an owner does is run to the store and buy a bag of grain-free kibble, thinking the wheat or the corn is making their dog itch. Here is the true medical fact. True grain allergies in dogs are incredibly rare. A food allergy is almost always an immune response to an animal protein. The dog's immune system mistakenly identifies a perfectly harmless protein molecule as a dangerous invading virus, and it attacks it, causing full-body inflammation and itching. The top two culprits for canine food allergies universally are beef and chicken. Dairy and wheat are far down the list. So if your dog is allergic to chicken, you just go to the store and buy a bag of premium salmon and sweet potato food, right? Wrong. And this is the trap. Over-the-counter pet store diets, even the massively expensive ones that say limited ingredient or single protein, are manufactured in gigantic commercial pet food factories. In these massive facilities, they use the exact same massive mixing vats and conveyor belts for 50 different brands and flavors of dog food. If the factory made 5 tons of chicken kibble on Tuesday, and then they make your dog's salmon-only kibble on Wednesday, the microscopic traces of chicken fat, chicken meal, and chicken protein are deeply embedded in the machinery. They cross-contaminate the salmon kibble. For a normal dog, that doesn't matter. But for a highly allergic dog, their immune system is like a microscopic bloodhound. One tiny, invisible molecule of cross-contaminated chicken protein will set off their immune system, and they will continue to scratch themselves raw. This is why you can switch between 20 different bags of premium pet store kibble and never see any improvement. Commercial retail foods are completely 100% unsuitable for conducting an accurate allergy test. So how do we actually find out if your dog has a food allergy? Well, we have to do it the exact same way a board-certified veterinary dermatologist would. Welcome to Chapter 3, the true 8-week food trial. An elimination diet trial is the single, only definitive diagnostic tool in the world that can actually identify a canine food allergy. It requires immense discipline, patience, and absolute perfection. To do a true food trial, we must feed your dog a pristine, scientifically formulated diet for 6 to 8 full weeks. We use a prescription-grade diet formulated by veterinarians because those diets are manufactured on dedicated, clinically sanitized machines where cross-contamination is utterly impossible. To execute this, your vet will choose one of 2 specific strategies. Strategy A is called the novel protein diet. In this strategy, you feed your dog a single protein and a single carbohydrate source that they have never, ever consumed in their entire life. We are talking about highly exotic meats. Depending on what your dog has eaten in the past, your vet might prescribe a diet made exclusively of kangaroo, alligator, venison, or rabbit. Why does this work? It's fascinating biology. In order for an immune system to have an allergic reaction to something, it must have been exposed to it in the past to build up antibodies against it. If your dog has never eaten kangaroo a single day in their life, it is literally biologically impossible for their immune system to have existing allergy antibodies against kangaroo. The immune system looks at the kangaroo protein, doesn't recognize it as a threat, and ignores it. The body calms down, the inflammation stops, and the itching disappears. Strategy B is arguably even more fascinating. It is called the hydrolyzed protein diet, or as I like to call it in the clinic, the invisibility cloak. Let's look at the mechanics of an allergy. Think of your dog's immune system as an overly aggressive security guard. This security guard is looking for a very specific, large shape to attack. A normal chicken protein molecule is very large. When it enters the bloodstream, the security guard easily spots it, sounds the alarm, and causes a massive itchy reaction. A hydrolyzed protein diet uses a highly advanced chemical process called enzymatic hydrolysis. The scientists take a normal protein, usually soy or chicken, and they use water and enzymes to violently shatter the protein molecule into microscopic, tiny little fragments. These fragments are measured in scientific molecular mass units called Daltons. Normal proteins are massive. Hydrolyzed proteins are chopped so unimaginably small, usually under 3,000 Daltons, that the immune system physically cannot see them. When your dog eats this shattered protein, it literally slips right past the immune system's receptors, completely undetected. It's like wearing an invisibility cloak. Your dog gets all the life-saving nutritional benefits and amino acids of the protein, but their hyper-aggressive immune system just sits there, completely quiet, never realizing it just ate food. Because the immune system goes quiet, the red rashes vanish. The paws stop being chewed, the ear infections clear up. Now, this sounds like a miracle, right? You just feed them the kangaroo or the hydrolyzed soy, and 8 weeks later, your dog is cured. My friends, if it were that easy, food allergies wouldn't be the most frustrating thing in veterinary medicine. Which brings us to Chapter 4. We must talk about the saboteurs. We need to talk about the sneaky, microscopic mistakes that will instantly destroy your 8-week test. A dog's skin takes a very, very long time to heal. It takes a full 6 to 8 weeks for the old, reactive allergens to fully flush out of the skin tissue, for the systemic inflammation to drop, and for the dog to realize they don't need to itch anymore. This test is an all-or-nothing game. It requires 100% flawless perfection. If you make a single tiny mistake on day 45 of the test, the entire 8-week clock immediately resets back to day 1. Okay, let me say that again so you understand the gravity. One single mistake means you start the 2 months entirely over. What are the mistakes that ruin the test? It is almost always hidden sources of contamination. The absolute #1 reason a food trial fails is flavored medications. Every single month, you lovingly give your dog their chewable flea, tick, and heartworm preventatives. Drugs like NexGard, HeartGard, or Simparica Trio. Dogs love them because they taste like treats. Why do they taste like treats? Because the pharmaceutical companies flavor them with massive amounts of real, dehydrated pork, chicken, or beef liver powder. If you feed your dog a pristine, hydrolyzed diet for a month, and then toss them their beef-flavored heartworm chew, boom. The immune system detects the beef, sounds the alarm, the dog starts intensely scratching again, and the test is completely ruined. If you are going to commit to an 8-week elimination trial, you must speak with your veterinarian to temporarily switch your dog to an unflavored, topical drop applied to the back of the neck, or a completely unflavored raw tablet hidden inside the prescription food. You cannot use flavored medications. The second saboteur is the rest of your household. The table scraps and the dropped crumbs. When I say 100% strict, I mean 0 treats. You cannot use peanut butter, you cannot use a piece of cheese to hide a pill. If you have a toddler sitting in a high chair dropping Cheerios or goldfish crackers on the kitchen floor, and your allergic dog swoops in and licks up one single crumb of toast, the trial is over. If you have a second, non-allergic dog in the house, you absolutely cannot let the allergic dog go over and lick the other dog's empty food bowl. One single piece of standard kibble from the other dog's bowl will trigger a raging immune response and ruin 2 months of hard work and expensive food. You must treat this diet with the same severity as a human with a deadly peanut allergy. The third and fourth saboteurs are things you wouldn't even think about: toys and supplements. Do you brush your dog's teeth to prevent plaque? Great, but look at the toothpaste tube. Is it poultry flavored? That is real poultry extract. You must stop brushing with it. Look in their toy box. Are they chewing on rawhide bones? Rawhides are highly processed beef and horse skin. Do they have one of those incredibly durable nylon chew bones? Many of those heavy-duty hard plastic toys are soaked and infused with synthetic chicken and bacon flavorings to make the dog want to chew them. As they chew, they ingest microscopic allergens. And finally, look at their vitamins. If you are giving your senior dog a daily joint chew containing glucosamine and chondroitin, look at the inactive ingredients on the back of the jar. They almost always use beef liver powder or fish oil to make it palatable. You must put the flavored toys, the toothpaste, and the supplements in a box and hide them in the garage for 8 weeks. It is just the dog and the prescription food. Nothing else enters their mouth. If you manage your household like a general, and you successfully make it to the end of week 8 with absolute perfection, something magical will happen. You will look down at your dog and you will realize the house is quiet. There is no thumping. There is no slurping. Their belly is a beautiful, pale, healthy pink instead of angry red. The fur is growing back on their paws. You did it. Their symptoms are completely gone. But wait. As a veterinarian, I must throw a massive plot twist at you. We arrive at Chapter 5, the dietary challenge. In the world of veterinary dermatology, just because your dog stops itching at the end of the 8 weeks does not actually prove they have a food allergy. But Dr. Tony, that makes no sense. I changed the food and they stopped itching. Of course it was the food. Not necessarily. You see, environmental allergies like pollen and grass are seasonal. Let's say you started your 8-week food trial in late October, when the dog was intensely itchy from the fall ragweed pollen. You strictly feed the hydrolyzed food through November and December. By the time the 8 weeks are up, your dog looks amazing. But is it because of the food? Or is it because it is now January? The world is covered in snow, all the pollen is dead, and the true trigger naturally disappeared. If we keep them on a highly expensive prescription diet for the rest of their life, based on a false assumption, we are wasting thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money. We need definitive proof. To get that 100% bulletproof, indisputable medical diagnosis of a food allergy, we must deliberately break the diet. This is called the dietary challenge. Your veterinarian will instruct you to take your dog's old, original bag of pet store kibble, the chicken or the beef, and feed it to them for a few days. I know. It sounds absolutely terrifying to intentionally feed them the thing that might make them sick. You finally have a healthy, peaceful dog, and I am asking you to risk it. But I promise you, this is the most critical step of the entire 2-month journey. If you feed them their old food and nothing happens, it was never a food allergy. It was an environmental allergy all along. The seasons just changed, and you are free to go back to buying normal, affordable dog food at the store. But if you reintroduce the old chicken kibble, and within somewhere between 1 day and 14 days, the itching flares back up with a vengeance, the paws get red, the belly breaks out, and the chewing returns, you immediately stop the old food, put them back on the hydrolyzed diet, and you celebrate. Yes, celebrate. Because you now have a 100% definitive, undeniable medical diagnosis of a food allergy. You have solved the puzzle. You no longer have to guess. You know exactly what is wrong with your dog, and you hold the exact key to keep them healthy, comfortable, and pain-free for the rest of their natural life. Wow, that is a massive, intense medical journey. A true 8-week elimination diet trial is one of the hardest things a pet parent will ever have to execute in their home. It requires you to be hyper-vigilant. It requires telling your kids not to drop food. It requires locking the trash can, reading every single medicine label, and enduring the frustration of a very strict routine. But if you do it, you have the power to literally change your dog's entire world. A dog suffering from severe allergies is trapped in a body of misery. By dedicating yourself to finding the truth, by ignoring the cheap online scam tests, and relying on hard veterinary science, you are saving them from a lifetime of steroids and suffering. The fact that you sat here for half an hour to learn the microscopic details of immune systems and hydrolyzed proteins tells me everything I need to know about the kind of pet parent you are. You are extraordinary. Your dog has no idea how much work you put into keeping them safe, but I do, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself. If this masterclass opened your eyes to the truth about food allergies today and saved you from buying a fake online saliva test, please do me a massive favor and hit that like button. It takes 1 single second, but it shows the YouTube algorithm that this is genuine, honest veterinary science, and it helps our channel reach and heal so many other intensely itchy dogs. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss out on our deep dives into your pet's health. And please, I want to hear your story. Leave a comment down below right now. Tell me, is your dog constantly chewing their paws or scratching their belly? And have you ever fallen for the grain-free marketing trick? I read as many comments as I possibly can, and I love seeing our amazing community share their experiences. Give your sweet, beautiful dog a massive, wonderful, itch-free hug from Dr. Tony tonight. Stay disciplined during that 8-week trial. Trust the science, stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video.